This is your host Tom coming to you from 734games.com, and today we are playing Deadcore. Deadcore is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux on Steam, and it's also available on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Now, I'm playing the PC version here, and to me the PC version is a decent game. I haven't played the console version, so I don't know how they look, but I mean, this is not the most beautiful graphics I've ever seen, but this is a game that should run on most of your systems, even if you have a laptop. On Steam right now it's $10, it's $9.99, and it's a fun platformer with really cool puzzles and great gameplay. There's not much for story, but this game isn't really about the story, it's about the gameplay mechanics. This is a puzzle platformer with some shooting mechanics, but you're not really shooting to like survive in this game. It's you against your environment, like any good puzzle platformer style game. You against your environment, you play the game, and you try to get through different obstacles to get to the next area. And this game is a game that makes you think, and the more you play it, the more you want to, the further you get, the more you're going to want to play this game. Now this game is by 5 Games. It was made in made in a 5-day FPS challenge that the 5 Games went through. It was published by Namco Bandai, and it came out in 2014 for the PC. They recently released it for the next-gen consoles, the PlayStation, for the current-gen consoles, PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. But I've had this game for a long time on the PC, and I've just never downloaded it and tried it, and I wanted to try it out, and I was pleasantly surprised. A really interesting game that really makes you want to come back and play more and more of the game. And right now it's on Desura and it's on Steam. Now, PC gamers, as far as picking this game up, I would not suggest picking up anything on Desura. I don't even know if Desura is still up. I just remember Desura running really bad. Now, if you are hearing me, 5 Games, if you can hear me and you can speak, and you guys speak English, because 5 Games are out of France, and obviously there's a lot of French people who do not speak English, especially Parisians don't like to speak English. So I mean, a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. But if you can hear me and you can understand me, I would say put this game on GOG Games or GOG.com. GOG is ran by these guys, CD Projekt Red, who put out this little game called The Witcher 3. And right now they're working on this little game called Cyberpunk 2077, and I think Deadcore would make a great, addition to the GOG library. GOG is an awesome service, and if you guys don't know about GOG, basically what they do is they'll take old games and make them run on modern systems. Games that if you ran these games, you'd have to find a workaround yourself. Now, back to Deadcore, which is a puzzle platformer where you ascend this tower, and you go through different puzzles, and this is a game here that basically makes you think. I mean, if you're somebody who's enjoyed games like Portal or Mirror's Edge or even Race the Sun, although Race the Sun is a different type of puzzle game. You kind of fly through the puzzles, but I mean, if you enjoy puzzle games and you enjoy especially indie games, then I would say this is definitely a game you should pick up. Now, even if you've never played a puzzle platformer before, you probably can't go wrong spending $10 on this game and playing it and having a good time. Even if you've never played a puzzle platformer, I would say this game has good enough mechanics to draw you in and suck you in and keep you wanting to play more. So I mean, the soundtrack is pretty decent. It's like it's got kind of a dark synth pop kind of sound to it, and sound effects are good. Lighting is decent. I mean, obviously it's not the most super beautiful graphics, but for a game like this, you don't need the mechanics are the most important thing here, and that's what the mechanics are what keeps you coming back in an indie puzzle game, because that's what this is, an indie puzzle game. Even though Namco Bandai did publish it, and it's cool to see it on the next gen consoles, because I did my first voiceover because their website's kind of like, kind of indie itself. So it didn't say that they had it on next-gen consoles, because this game for a long time was only on PC. But they put it on the next-gen consoles. It's actually a little cheaper on the next-gen consoles, but I hear it doesn't run as well. The PC version on Metacritic has like a 78. It's for a game that's been out that long. That's pretty good. Because generally games they'll drop off. You know, like if they're on Metacritic for too long, their user reviews will drop fast, and that's just how they. I mean, not drop fast, but they'll drop over time, and you'll usually have a very low Metacritic by now. You'll be like in the 60s. Even if the game was like 65, it would be, you'd know it's probably a good game. Now on Steam, as far as user reviews, it's very positive. I mean, it's like out of 1,600 reviews, 1,400 are positive. So that's pretty good. And I mean, I had no problem running the game. It should run on most systems. Most people on Steam didn't have any problem running the game. If you have a modern laptop, you could probably run the game. I looked at the minimum system requirements. The minimum system requirements for this game was like a Intel dual core, and the maximum was like a i5, probably an old i5 because its AMD counterpart was a 6200, which is a pretty old FX chip. So I mean, that's probably first generation Intel i5. So I mean, if this game will run on those systems, then that's recommended requirements. And of course, for graphics cards, it was a 660 GTX, which was a beefy card, but it's an old card. So I mean, if you can run a game if you can run this game on that, you can probably pretty much run this game on anything. The game runs really well. I'm going to put as much information in my little description as I can. I always try to put the wiki and try to give you as much information about games as I can when I put them on my blog on 734games. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying this video, some of this footage. I think the best way for you to tell if you like a game is to see the game in action. Stay tuned at the end of the video. I'm going to let you hear some of the sounds because I think the sound quality is important. And that's pretty much it for this episode of 734 Games. I hope you've enjoyed my games, and I hope you check out the rest of my videos on my website, 734games.com, or you can check me out on Twitter. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've inspired you to buy this cool indie.